Hey everybody, how's it
Hey,
going?
welcome back to What the Phuc. I can't believe we're in episode 40 something. Is that right?
43, you know.
43 of our
Yeah,
personal diary.
43.
You
It's
guys
getting
are
good.
nosy. You guys don't know why you're still here.
You got
Either
issues.
you're bored and you have nothing to do, or we're the most interesting people on earth. I don't know. Which one
Oh,
is
they,
it?
they probably have a goal. I'm guessing like they saw something that gets them coming back every week. It is interesting, and we covered
Yeah, the
like
whole
a
five of
bunch of
you. But
topics.
I think there'll be more because I have some news. Okay, so it's not quite ready yet. But the movie script that we're selling for Phuc Labs, the new pivot, essentially,
Yeah.
it's working really well. And I just got out of a meeting with a VC.
Oh,
This is a very
nice.
famous VC that everyone will know. They would have funded companies that people know, especially in hardware. And
Okay.
they've been talking to us for a while, and we kind of keep in contact and all that stuff. But we finally gave them an update of what we've been up to because we're basically fundraising, right?
Yeah, yeah. The
And they
whole
were blown
process.
away. And
Amazing.
basically, his statement was this: on Monday, I'm going to present this to the partnership. We're gonna try to lead you around. We're gonna give you a term sheet, basically, right? He inferred it, right? And the reason why was because at the end of the meeting, we said, look, we have like 3 verbal yeses already from other people.
Yep.
We're gonna have another one very soon, and that one might lead. And they're like, oh, that company's that VC is gonna lead. I was like, yeah, that VC leads. And they're like, no, this VC never leads. And like, they told us they may lead us. And like, wow, that's different.
Okay. Yeah,
And they're
yeah.
like, well, yeah, and here's the reason why they may lead because they really like it for these reasons. And he agreed with those reasons, right? So that's what happens when you say, well, I asked Jane to the prom, and she says she's probably gonna go with me, but she has to check her schedule, right? And then you're like, wait, I want to go to the prom with you. I don't want to go to prom with 2 other people. I want to go to prom with you only, so I want to lead. So he's like, we want to lead. I was like, well, that's great. Just give us a term sheet. Yeah. And
What
so
is the term
he's
sheet?
going to, he's like, I said on Monday, which today's Thursday,
Okay.
November 10th.
Yep.
My birthday
November
is
10th.
November 19th. I
Ooh.
believe before my birthday, I will have a term sheet from these guys.
What is a term sheet? Like
So to give you
an
an idea of
official?
how it
Yeah.
works, the idea is you have to go and pitch your movie, essentially. You have a script, and you have all these producers who can basically produce your movie. Think
Yep.
of investors as the VCs as producers of movies, right? You have a movie script, you have all the actors lined up. You may have some actors already done some work for you, and we create a pilot, for example. We create a product in this case, and we can show them a shot of the movie. Let's say a shot of the movie The Matrix, right? The Matrix is a very famous movie.
Yep.
You see it, you're like, oh my god, this is going to be a big hit. What other studios have it? What other studios know about this? What other offers are you getting? And then as you start to get offers, people get, oh my god, it's basically called fear of missing out. It's called FOMO,
Yeah.
right? And the term sheet is essentially the offer. A term sheet is in the industry a single page. Basically says, I will invest this much money, this much money
Yep.
for this valuation for this part of your company, right? And
Okay.
these are the other terms I would like to request. I would like to have a board seat, maybe, meaning they would want to be a board on your. We have to create a board,
Yeah.
and there'll
Yeah.
be a
Yeah.
board of directors, which
You
is
want to
actually
say?
great because we basically get free advice from someone who's actually really committed to the company, right? It's like saying, I want to go and get married to you. I'm going to bring my house with me. I'm going to give you some money, for example, right? In this case,
Yep.
but
Yeah.
I'd like to make sure that you're doing a good job with the money. So I'd like to give you updates and have some feedback and back and forth. Well, obviously you run the company, but I'd like to give you some advice along the way and know what's going on along the way. So that's what a board of advisors is, right? It's,
Well,
it's
that,
basically a
that that would
board.
depend on like the percentage they get, right? Like because they
No,
could
it's
have
not
like
percentage. You can actually have people on the board of directors
okay,
who don't even have shares of the company. You could just even give them
okay,
free money, right? You can
just
give
like
money, or they might
somebody
even do
that
it for free, right? So
somebody whose
board of
opinion you
advisors.
see as worthy, and you like just sit them there and
No,
they
no,
get a
no. They're
say.
supposed to take care of your shareholders.
Okay,
So basically, they represent everybody who owns a share of your company. And when you go public, they get compensated too.
okay,
And
cool.
they typically, for example, the Twitter board, right, was
Yeah,
all fired when Elon
yeah,
Musk bought Twitter. He's going to create his own board of directors. But the board
yes.
of directors was the people who agreed to sell the company to Elon Musk. So they knew they were going to get fired.
Oh,
Does that
okay.
make sense? The
Yeah,
board
no,
of
it does
directors,
make sense.
they're the ones who have to sign the piece of paper saying, I agree to this transaction, right? For something
But I
like
mean,
that
like,
big.
it's funny because like all the news I've been seeing is like, oh, he doesn't know what he's doing. He just fired everybody. I'm like, but if you already knew you were gonna get fired, it's just like
Well,
it's a
no,
new
it's not that. It's like,
administration,
I'm
though.
buying a house. I'd like you to move out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you.
I'm letting you know when I buy this house, the people who are living there, the people working there, half those people I will let continue to live there, and the other half I'm not sure I want to keep.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. But like, yeah, it's so presented like in a different way. Like, oh, he doesn't know what he's
Well,
doing. He
well,
just fired, and
well,
then
the board of directors would have
yeah,
blessed it
yeah, yeah.
because they would have said, "What are you gonna? What are your plans?" That's their job. Is like what we have to take care of our shareholders, and technically
Yep.
they should take care of the employees too, right?
Yeah, yeah.
We,
I mean,
which
like, it's
are
the whole
also
structure, right?
shareholders because all the employees have stock,
Okay, cool.
technically, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So technically, if you take care of your shareholders and your employees, you should ask that question: what are you going to do after you acquire the company? So when Elon Musk acquired Twitter, he had the right to, and he had the expectation to, and everyone knew he was going to, including the news media. But what they get to do is they get to twist it any way they want and tell a narrative.
Of course.
And
Which
that's
is
what
why he's
happens when
buying
you're the
Twitter in the
boss.
first place now.
When you
Yeah.
become the boss, you become the man. Suddenly, you're a regular person. You're on this podcast, for example, and then all of a sudden, when you become rich, let's say down the road, you become the man, and then people look at you in a negative way. Like you probably sit with other people like you, and you become a cabal. And then you make decisions in a boardroom, and all these decisions for us small folk are made by big folks like you.
Of course, all the Illuminati.
That's basically probably right to some degree to some things. I'll actually tell you that's not conspiracy. That's true because there's truth to it. Like for example, the oil industry is literally a cabal of people who have oil, Saudi Arabia, and the Middle East, and they say it's called OPEC, right? It's actually there's a name to the cabal. We're called OPEC, and we can control how much oil to give or how much little oil to give, so we can increase the price and benefit our cabal. Which is just saying it's like a family. It's like saying, okay, on behalf of my family, I would like to negotiate how we work with other families in this campsite,
Yep.
right? For example, right? Let's say you're going camping. You can have a cabal. You can call it cabal. You say a group of people who like each other or belong to each other, or I don't know, a group of
which is a
people who work
team.
together.
Yeah.
And
Yep,
they're
aligned
powerful. Okay,
interests.
so does that mean you can't have groups of people because you could become rich? No, you probably have more groups of people because you have more time to hang out, right? Because if you think about cabals and groups, think about the direction of time you have, right? You have more time when you have more money. What do you do with your more time, Roberto? What do you think?
Get some figure out how to get more money, and then
You create a cabal. You create a group
Yeah,
of people
get a
in the
gang of
golf
friends.
club. You hang out with your friends at whatever the concert that you go to. You go to Burning Man. You go to do these podcasts. You have free time to basically do what rich people do: form groups, hang out, create cabals. And then the small folk, we just work every day. We go clean your toilets. We go wake up at 6 a.m. to open the restaurant.
Yeah.
And then we stay up late to midnight to serve you.
Yeah. Well, that's what you got to do, I guess, until you make it big.
And then you become the person who then becomes the rich person who then is hated on by the same person that you used to be.
It's a circle of life, and if you make it, it does get weird though. I mean, but it is true. Like as soon as you get a bit bigger, you get different interests, and it's normal.
Well,
And
I'm just saying, why do you get rich in the first place? Why would you work hard as an immigrant who came to this country with nothing? Why would you work to make it rich? For your family.
Yeah, you have people.
For your cabal. So it goes back full circle. That's why you did this in the first place.
Yeah.
You have to remember there's a perspective to everything. Right? The cabal is a group of people who work together and they give themselves an edge. I will give my brother an edge. There will be something called corruption or nepotism because I love him. And we did a lot of shit together and he earned some karma points that I need to pay back. But those karma points aren't karma points to other people. Those karma points are you promoted your brother or your sister or your friend above me for no reason.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it is Well,
But
yeah,
how about when
it
he
is
let
hard
me
to
borrow
justify the
money when
things
I was
that.
down and out and I really needed someone and he was there for me emotionally? Did you ever do
True.
that to me as an employee? Did you ever do that? No. Did you ever do that as a voter? Did you
Yep.
ever do
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
as someone who I didn't promote? No, you didn't. So you can't see from my perspective that I have to promote that person because that's what happens to loyalty. Do you want me to be a loyal boss, a loyal friend, a loyal family member, or not be loyal?
Yeah,
So
that's
if you
true.
want me to be loyal, I also have to be corrupt.
Well, it's not about corruption. I guess it's like it's just
From your
like
perspective, it's corrupt to promote somebody who doesn't deserve it. But they do deserve
yeah,
it in my
yeah,
eyes.
yeah.
In my eyes, they deserve it because they did something before this that you don't
Exactly.
know about.
That you don't have to know about. Like it's just the way it is.
But
But
even
I
if you
mean, like
did
you
know
do have to
about, you wouldn't
justify
think it's
it.
right because that has nothing to do with this job, but it does
It's how I got
because it has
here.
to do with trust.
Yes, and it's like there's. I didn't just like pop up in this place. Like I had like there's a whole path behind me that I had to walk, and this person was there.
That
And
person was there for me, and that loyalty means something. So therefore, the people who work for me at these startups, that's why they come and work for me because they know that they can skip 5 levels. That because they earn what's called sweat equity.
yep,
Sweat equity is when you go and you take risk that no one else wants to take. Maybe even take less salary. You work a little bit harder than you would work for a normal boss. You might spend a little bit more emotion behind your work effort. But it's a bet on the movie that we're going to make because you're the actor. You want to be the star of that movie too. And when the movie gets the producer to give money, everybody gets famous, including the producer, including the actor, including the director, which I guess the CEO is, right? Or the scriptwriter who is the CEO, right? So the idea is it's like a movie. And it's very hard because not many movies get made, right?
no, it's true. Well, sometimes like there's you get a bad idea as well. I mean, like you have to be like, honest with this aspect of it. If you're presenting a shit product, like it is what it is. Like who would want to back this up?
But for the movie to get off the ground, you need a cinematographer. Maybe you need a
Yeah.
coder, right? You need a person who can actually do the script writing. That's a coder, maybe, right? And then you need a hardware person who can build the set, right? And you need a cinematographer who can organize the UX and organize the production. And you need a director to do the project management. And some of these people will come and go during the pilot as you find the talent that you want, because maybe that scriptwriter isn't quite a right fit for this show, but maybe they're really good for some other show, or maybe they didn't get along with the director, right? Or maybe there's some drama that goes on, but that's the movie you signed up for. And we're actually at the end of this movie in terms of the phase that we're in, because a startup is like a phase, like a phased video game. You have one level, and there's a big boss. Your big boss is you run out of money. Right? It's always the big boss. You run out of money, or everyone quits on you, and you don't have any more bullets, or you have any more teammates, whatever it is, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Man, stuff
So we're
happens.
we're basically out of money, like literally out of money. But that's always the case. You're supposed to always be the big boss, and then you get the reward of winning that prize, and the prize is a new game, with a different set of rules, with new money, with new credits, with you respawn in a new chapter of the movie or a new part of the game, but you get everything back to normal. Full health, full gear. In fact, you might even get upgraded gear. And you might have more teammates. And you can have more resources. But we're at the end of the first phase, which really is the hardest. So we're 2 years into this, right? And we went past the first phase where we built the lab device, the pilot, the MVP. We've then figured out the second part. So the first part is you need to build something that people want. You have to build something that's unique, that's new, that hopefully you have an unfair advantage in creating and maintaining and growing. And that's what we did. That's one part of the equation. The other part is how do you make money with it? And that's what we took a long time to figure out. And then we figured it out. And it was wrong. And we figured it out. And it was wrong. And then we finally figured it out. And when you know it's right, here's how you know. So we went and pitched to Republic, and we went from like we weren't even trying that hard. We went actually to 30,000, then we just doubled to 60 something thousand now.
Let's see how much you're at right now. Like we're at
Right.
$62,055.
And that was
With
from like 2
174
emails
investors.
that some friends of ours with fairly big groups sent to some people. I think that's going to grow some more. But that just means that like, hey, we just barely started, and now we're going to put some budget behind it. I think we're going to reach the goal. But I think more importantly, it gave us a goal to achieve, which is we're ready for investors and ready to talk to them, right? So we started to talk to some investors, and we got some yeses, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I spoke to this VC today, who we'd been talking to for over a year, and they've been following the journey. And actually, this VC had said no to us because we had figured out the product, but we didn't figure out how to make money. And then we would say, hey, let's regroup. We figure out how to make money now. And they had been following us because, this other person who wasn't part of that VC actually joined their company. And that person we had pitched to as well. But he was an operator. He actually ran a company. He actually is the CEO of a company that does water stuff, right? So together, it was, again, happenstance that two people who we had been talking to, now they're actually part of the same team.
Mm-hmm.
And then he basically was supposed to visit the lab a couple of weeks ago, but he was super busy. But then he finally met with us today. He didn't do a lab visit, but he saw all the stuff that we had sent, right? Very impressed. And this is like the third, fourth time we met with him. And he says on Monday, I'm going to bring this to the partnership. And I'm going to try to see if we can actually do this round with you guys. And so basically we're going to get a term sheet probably from them. I said, we'll have, and they said, do you have a lead yet? And I say, we have a couple of people who have already said yes. We have a lead that definitely would be very interesting for us to have. And that's probably the number one choice for us. And he said, yeah, we like to lead. We don't like to share. We don't like to lead with other people. But I was like, well, maybe you want to have them in the round too, maybe as a follow-on. So as a co-investor, but maybe you guys can lead, but give us a term sheet. He said, okay. And so that's pretty much like, as much as you can, no one's going to mess around. Like no one, at this level, right?
Yeah, no, exactly. Serious people here. Like you're not fucking around. Like it's not a
at this level, they're not going to, to spend 5 minutes with them, that's wasting their time. Right?
Yeah,
if they're not going to get something out of it, right? It's like these people don't just meet with random people. They meet with people they want to give money to or want to do a transaction with or want to help in some way and do something, right? And be serious. They're serious people. They're not just going to go hang out.
Of
Right?
course,
And just say, hey, babe, maybe I'll do something the next week. Hey, I forgot about that. What did I say I was going to do? But yeah, some investors actually do that, right? We actually had some investors.
Time?
No, just even right now, like a couple weeks ago, I pitched this person, right? And they were connected to someone in Hollywood, and they seemed super excited they were going to write something about us, and they didn't. And that person didn't. But I guess what's going on is maybe that relationship with that person, with the other investor that they're working with, maybe that relationship wasn't so strong, and maybe they have an issue, or maybe they have some other things they're working on, and it's beyond your control. But these guys were not professionals. Okay. In terms of like an elite VC who that's all they do. They do other stuff, right? So they're kind of distracted. This is actually one of the top VCs in the country.
Which is amazing.
They have a $700 million fund. This is not their first fund that's that big. It's super big. So they believe in this, and the story is very tight. Like I've been telling you on the show, right? You have to have the right narrative. And the way we did things was we just kept deleting objections. So whenever someone said no to us, we're like, why did they say no? Okay, they said no for these reasons. Either we're right or they're right, or somewhere in the middle. And then we start deleting stuff. We start removing stuff that was complicated. They said no because we said we're going to do 5 things. And it seemed pretty complicated to do those 5 things. Can we remove 2 of those things and do 3 things instead and get a better result and have those, those objections go away? And actually, that's what we started doing. We said, let's not have customers, right? Let's not sell our vision valve to other people, right? Let's make it ourselves and use it for ourselves and make money and keep all the value. So what does that do? Well, it removes the need for customer success. You don't need to build a team. You don't need to hire people. You don't need to have a sales team. You don't have to have customers who have requests and issues and flying there and installing and on their timeline. You could do it on your timeline.
Yeah,
You
no,
don't have to have the
exactly.
equipment be perfect. It could be functional for you, but not necessarily perfect for the customer, which expects packaging, they expect warranties, manuals, they expect a chat line, they expect a bunch of stuff, and you have to transport to them and have it global, and you have to have customer support go there. And what we said was, you know what, these VCs, those questions, they're very hard to answer.
They are.
Take it off the table. Come off the pass. Why do we even have to have customers? Just do it ourselves. And then that opened the door to the pivot, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So the pivot is, if you do it yourself, you gain, you lose, basically, you lose in terms of complexity because you have
Okay.
to create more in terms of your own facility, your own manufacturing, your own kind of supply chain, all that stuff. So you're basically increasing your complexity of technology risk, right? It's riskier. But what you're gaining is you're reducing costs. You're reducing operational risk with customer success. You're reducing marketing risk or eliminating the need for marketing at all or sales. So basically, more of that money can be used for fixing this problem that is new, that you introduced, right? So with every pivot, when you pivot a company, when you pivot an idea or you pivot your life, right? You have to make a spreadsheet. Okay, what's the pros? What are the pros? What are the cons for each approach? And then what we found was, well, if we did it ourselves, our fate is in our own hands. We don't have customers who have to say yes or no. We don't have to have a sales team. We don't have to have them wait. The timeline can be faster. So if we do solve whatever problem we solve, we can add fuel to the fire, which VCs love. Now think
Okay, but
about
I
this,
mean,
right?
like this is like going on the premise that there's an efficient company here. Because sometimes, like I get that some people might need like that kick in the butt that you have to deliver stuff on a certain date that comes from the customers.
But the customer is you, right? And your VCs, who basically is like you have one customer. It's not like you don't
Okay.
have a customer. Your board of directors would say, "Hey, tell me your production plans." And they'll kick you in the butt because they're the investors who put money in, right? Because they'll make sure
Yeah.
that what we outline, that's part of also our plan, our production plan. We have a production plan. We
Yeah.
have to tell
Yeah. Yeah.
investors what we plan to do. And we have
Of
to
course.
have employees tell
And
them
you're
what to do
accountable.
too. It's like, we're going to grow this way and here's how. We're going to get this number of feedstock. We're going to be able to process this much money. We can produce this much output. We need this one facility and this facility costs this much. And once we have that one facility, we can make more facilities.
Okay.
Okay.
So there's a
Now
projection,
that's
and
a
you're showing like
story
the.
that is you do A, which is very hard the first time. But once you do it the first time, the second time is very easy. For example, the Tesla factory.
Yeah.
The first time Elon Musk made that Tesla factory is very hard. But then he cloned it to Germany. He cloned it to China. He cloned it to Austin. And now he can just keep cloning that factory.
Yeah. You set up your framework and everything, and then you get all the know-how from it.
But there's a
Yeah.
technical risk
Yeah.
that is involved. But guess where our unfair advantage is for as a company that we've proven? We're very good at technical risk. Everything that we said technically we were going to do, we've met or exceeded your expectations. So
Which
from
is
the
what you
point of
want.
view of the
Yeah.
investor, right, what you do is you say, okay, we're going to tackle a harder problem in your eyes, but in our eyes is actually a pretty easy problem
Yeah.
because we already have the infrastructure. We don't have to change anything. We have the people. We could fix that. Okay. Now, then the other thing you do is you say, okay, what other hard problems do you have to solve, which is distribution, all this other stuff. And you say, well, and feedstock and all these other questions you have. You say, what investors can help us with that? What investors can give us, for example, money to buy the feedstock or have connections to get us the feedstock or to help us process the feedstock by giving us know-how that because they know grinding equipment and some other stuff, right? So the idea is you have to find someone who can solve something in the future that you need to solve. And you have to strategically find those people who can help you be your investors as well. So
Okay.
part of that meeting today is we
Yeah,
said
yeah.
to the investor, well, look, we have all these investors who want to say yes. And here's the thing they have in common. They all can help us in different ways. This investor can give us legal information, like patent information, for example,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Patent
yeah.
advice. This investor can give us information about how to scale our hardware. This person knows about grinding equipment. This person knows about the sales process of selling the metals that we produce. This one can help get the feedstock. And all of them want to do it because they have a movie they can be part of.
And yeah, they
Does that
have a
make sense?
big role to play. No, exactly. Because like it is, I feel like this is very important here right now because like some people just want whoever, and it's not about that. It's not just about showing up with money or in cash, but it's what else do you have? Because
Okay.
you have a bunch of people that are ready to give you money.
Right. So you say, I have this pilot, and I already have Tom Cruise signed to be the actor.
Yeah,
So that's one VC that's ready to sign on. Or thinking about signing on. We have Tom Cruise thinking about signing on, and the other co-star would be Brad Pitt, right? And then you have some other people that talk. We'll talk to all these people. I'm not sure, but these are the candidates who might work with us.
yeah,
And we have Steven Spielberg. And we're talking to some other directors, but all these directors have an angle that can help us, and they're all very enthusiastically thinking of joining the project.
yeah. Everybody wants in.
Now, these folks, they actually know. I didn't know that Steven Spielberg was going to do comedy. He never does comedy. Yeah. He never does comedy. For this comedy, he's going to do. Now,
Exactly.
when you think about that someone's going to go and do something out of their norm, and Steven Spielberg doesn't do that unless he really likes something, then it makes you all jazz, and you're like, okay, I got to beat this because there's only one director slot, and I want to be the director, not Steven Spielberg. Right? Or I want to
Yeah,
have my own director, or I want
yeah,
to be the
yeah,
producer on this movie. Do you guys have another production studio you guys working with? Oh yeah, we're working with MGM, we're working with Universal, we're working with 5 others. They're gonna give us 2 of them verbally said yes. We can get term sheets from them. We're gonna get an offer from them in a week or 2. Then you start to see who wants to step up, who has conviction, and then they give us the term sheets. And that's what's gonna happen very soon.
Oh, that's awesome though. I mean, like, but it is very important, like, to note that you have to know your company very well and to learn to give it the value that it really deserves. Because,
Yeah,
like you
it's a
said, right now for a
process.
director's spot, like there's one spot, and it's a very valuable piece there.
Yeah, it's a process of finding out again the objections. When people say no to you, why did they say no? Did they say no because of X, Y, Z? Well, they may say no because of this, because they don't trust me. Who do they trust? They said no to me because they don't trust that I'm going to do a good job with the directing. But if Steven Spielberg is part of this, I trust Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I
So
don't
yeah, like,
trust the script would be good, but the script writer they have lined up, that guy's top notch. And
okay,
by the way, I just looked at your pilot. That blew my socks away. Whatever you said you're going to build like 5 months ago in terms of the pilot, you say, hey, here's the script. I'm
yeah,
going to show you a pilot in about a year.
it's
And you show
happening.
me the pilot based on that script, and it got even better than what I thought it was going to be. I know I can trust you to deliver your side of it. And you lined up 5 other people because you know your weaknesses.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because you know what you're doing. You know how to put a movie together. So I'm very impressed. I'd like to be part of it.
Yeah, man, I can help out in this manner, in this way. I got this, I have this. Let's make this even better.
And so that's what we're trying to build towards. I have that feeling.
It's
That's what's
happening.
happening right now. When I have this feeling, like every meeting I go to, I have 2 more meetings today.
Today?
Like
Damn.
I have 2 more meetings, and like every meeting is like that.
Yeah,
Every meeting I
yeah,
come up, like, okay, these guys are gonna cut a check. They say, oh, they're gonna do a check. They're gonna do diligence. They say, give me the data room. So the data room is okay. So here's what you need to do. You need to create a virtual room of all your information. It's called a data room. A data room is just a folder. You can encrypted. You don't have to encrypt it, or you can share it through some sharing service that's secure, like Dropbox or Google Doc. But the idea is you have to have that ready because that's what they're going to ask next. So here's how those meetings go. There's small talk, they're getting to know you, then you dive into a conversation. Don't ever do the pitch slides. The pitch slides, refer to them as part of the conversation. It's like going to having coffee with Steven Spielberg. Steven Spielberg is not going to look at some slides. He wants to talk to you. Or a producer, like they want to know that you can work with them because they're going to be in the board of directors. So it's like this person, do I want to marry? So when you go into those meetings, it's a two-way street. You have to ask them, what value do you think this presents to this society, and how do you think you see yourself helping us? And you see if their vision is the same as your vision, and you see how helpful they are. And when you do that, you also sell them on the vision, because when they talk about it, they talk themselves into the movie.
Well, actually, this is a very,
right?
It's super important. Like this mindset of being like, you're not the one being interviewed, but you're interviewing as well.
You're not just interviewing them, but it's a Jedi trick.
Yeah.
These are not the droids you were looking for, right? So when it's like, the Jedi trick is, so tell me how you see the future of our company and how you fit in the future of the company.
Yeah.
Now, when you do that, you let them use their imaginations, and it lets them complete the cycle of thought and repeat it back to you. I see the future this way, this way, this way, and here's my role. And then during the conversation, you'd be like, oh, wait, actually, that future that you envision is a little bit, it's correct, but it's a little bit off from what we're trying to say. We'd like to adjust it this way. Here's the vision we want to see. And then you get to see the gaps in your sales. Okay? Because when you have your customer repeat the value proposition to them and what they would do with it and all that, they tend to repeat what they heard. And what they heard is different from what you said.
Of course, they have a different perspective on things, and the angle they're going for is not yours.
And that's how you close the deal. So when you close the deal is when someone says, hey, so your movie, the character does this, and they die at the end, and then everything's over. And no, they don't die at the end. They seem to die at the end.
Then you make a sequel.
And there's going to be Matrix 2 where they come back to life and they get resurrected. You know what I'm saying? So you're saying, so that's, oh, I get it now. And then, so this movie's completely different from me now. I get it now. It's going to be part 2. And so they don't die. It's not like a sad story. It's a drama. It's basically a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
See, so now they actually understand the movie. They might fund it now. Before they thought it was going to be a crap movie. Now they know it's a trilogy. You know, with a happy ending, because they hate sad endings, because this is a kid movie. They can't have sad endings in kid movies. Right? You know what I'm saying? Because the kids would hate it.
Yeah, that's true. There's so many
My
great
son,
movies
right?
that could have ended like.
I said Avengers, right? The final Avengers where everyone dies.
Yeah.
I said, son, this movie's going to end very badly. The bad guy's going to win. All the good guys going to die. And he's like, Dad, you're lying to me. You're lying to me. I was like, no, I'm not lying to you. I'm trying to prepare you for the movie ending. And he wouldn't believe me. And then when it happened, he's like, I hate the Avengers. I'm never going to watch movies again. This is the stupidest movie ever. I was like, son, I told you that was going to happen. He's like, Dad, I hate you. I was like, why do you hate me? Because I told the truth. He's like, I thought you were lying, but you're telling the truth. I was like, yeah, I'm sorry.
They had to.
And with a snap of finger, Thanos killed half the universe.
Yeah,
right? At the end of that movie.
It was amazing. There was this other movie. I remember I was watching it with like, you watch Inside Out?
Yes.
When there's this moment when they have like the imaginary friend, and they're stuck like with happiness. I think like in that hole that is like nothingness, and then that's when you get like forgotten. And I'm there sitting there with a bunch of kids, right? Because like I just like animation, and when the imaginary friend tells him like, you're gonna make it now. And I'm like, shit, it's going to sacrifice himself. Now the kids are like super happy because now finally happiness is going to make it. They're like, no, how about you? Like, listen, you kids, you don't know what's going to happen right now. He's going to get off the wagon. And when it happens, and my daughter is looking at me like, she made it out. Like, you're not understanding what's happening right now. Like, you don't get it. And she's like, but what do you mean? And then when you see like the imaginary friend in the hall there, like being forgotten, it hits them. You're like, why? What is he doing? Like, because he had to sacrifice himself. It's just the way it works. And it's this feeling exactly of like something good had to happen, but like something bad happened as well, and you didn't see it coming. And you didn't see it coming.
But unfortunately for the Avengers one, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
You had to wait a couple months for the second
I
movie.
know. It wasn't like immediate. Like the happiness, like you didn't get immediate.
So it was like a year of like. So when the Patriots lost the Super Bowl that one time, they were undefeated, and then in the Super Bowl they lost.
Okay.
For like 6 months, I was so depressed. I don't know why. It didn't matter because I wasn't on the field or anything. But it was a small thing in the universe. But I was so depressed. I didn't want to turn on football. I was like, oh my god, I can't believe that happened to me. I was like, it happened to me. It's like I wasn't even in the field. I was like, what? So anyway, it's I know the feeling.
It's crazy, and because you get emotionally attached to these things. Like I barely ever watch soccer or football, and one of my friends is like intensely like pro Brazil and everything. He's from here, and that game they got like the 7-1. He was about to cry. Like, but like you have nothing to do with this. Like you have like no skin in the game. You're just watching this, and they're like, no. And he was about to cry about the whole situation. You get involved in these things like wholeheartedly.
That's because you're passionate about something. You care.
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing to have. You have passion, but you have to put passion in the right place. You have to put passion in things you can control.
Yes, because it's not like you're gonna go play for them. I mean, like it's not happening. But I mean, like exactly.
So,
like
for example, let's say your fate.
Focus your energy, man.
Yeah, your fate is to not be an actor because you suck at acting. You might be passionate at acting.
Yeah,
but that doesn't mean you get to be an actor.
Exactly. Like know what your thing is.
But you have to be passionate because a lot of people don't have any passion on anything. They're like, oh, I just want to get a job and just go home and watch TV and
bland existence.
And I was like, really? Is that what you grew up to be, or is that something you wanted to be?
Or did you ever even question yourself? Like, or is this like the first time you're considering this aspect of your life, or are you just going through the motions?
Well, society is built that way. Now, if you think about society, right?
Mm-hmm.
Think about all the jobs that you have. They are basically a small specialization in a much larger system.
You're a cog.
You have to be because you have 7 billion people.
Yeah. And I get the whole teamwork thing, that you can make greater things if you do your role properly. But I mean, at the same time, like it must be depressing. I had a friend, she used to work like at this company in Montreal at Ubisoft. And we were all amazed when she got the job. And she hated it 3 months later because of the way that she was. They're like, I'm just a book in a library. I do one thing. Like, she was a modeler. She would do like all these like props and stuff, like a hat, a phone, a mouse, a pen. And I don't know where my stuff ends. They just give me a list of things I have to model, and that's it. And I hate being this like book in the library or this cog in the whole system. And there's different types of people.
Depends, right? Like, so let me frame it differently.
Mm-hmm.
You are the kicker on the Patriots.
Yeah.
You're a cog in the machine. All you do is you get this one job, but you get to hang out with cool people who are really nice friends because you kind of like jocks, and you like to hang out with other jocks and make jokes in the locker room and drink beers and whatever you guys do, right? And you have friendship.
Whatever you guys do.
No, in the locker room, right? The jocks do, right? Men do. And you compare that to, let's say, the TV show The Office. The TV show The Office, they're selling boring things. They're selling paper, essentially, right? Paper products.
Yes.
But it's basically, you have the weird boss. You have the funny employees who joke on the boss. You got the love romance. You got the friendships. You got the after hours things that they do that's silly. And you have the, messing around during the day. And if you think about that, that's probably Twitter. Right? Like the employees at Twitter who got laid off.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Elon Musk laid off half the Twitter employees. That's basically The Office, where they're doing very little work. Like, if you had one person, you can probably have the entire office be functioning fine. or with some automation and some software and stuff like that. But ultimately, right, you have to have something to do every day.
Yep.
And I think the job that wherever you get, your coworkers and how you interact with them is very important, right? So let's say in this remote work culture, you don't have coworkers. That's ideal for a lot of people, actually. Right? For example, Twitter, he might say, "Hey, everyone has to go come work physically." You're gonna lose people who they don't like coworkers. They like their family, or they like their farm, and they're introverts, and they'll get more work done if no one bothers them.
Exactly. It's something that's very underappreciated now. Like I get
which is
a lot of the attention
freedom to
always
be
goes,
whoever you want to be.
Yes, exactly. A lot of the appreciation always goes to like the outspoken people, but like there's some bunch of us that just like enjoy being peace and quiet. The fact that I don't know, I can just like get up and snack on something. But I knew a lot of people like that though, because like in animation you get some like different kinds of characters. Like you're just alone doing your thing, or at some point it gets added on to like the whole the whole chain of production. So it's fine. Like honestly,
And so you seem like very passionate about remote work, right? You want to work remotely.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people feel that way. So if you find that you're missing out on a segment of the workforce.
Yeah. Well, it depends on the
Plus,
experience.
you can get people who aren't remote, who aren't in your geographic area.
Yep.
You can get people from other countries who give you more diversity.
Exactly.
So if you're looking for diversity, right? Why not get someone African American? Also, try to get someone from Africa.
Yeah, straight up.
Why not do both?
Yeah,
give an opportunity to someone in Vietnam, like I'm trying to give, right? Or someone in the Philippines, and create jobs everywhere.
Yeah,
because it's a global society where everyone can video conference now.
All you need is internet, man. That's it. Get a good connection, and we can work on anything.
So the fact that Elon Musk is making people come physically, you know what that means. He's not as progressive, and he's going to lose out.
Yes.
To me.
Or I think that he doesn't trust his employees either, or there's an issue with work ethic.
That's the thing. Elon equates physical presence to work effort. And he equates work effort to success.
Yeah.
Now, to some degree, I agree with work effort equals success, but working smart versus working hard, I would pick smart, less time, Zen Buddha, elite, Tom Brady like strategic elite levels of work where you just go in and you know exactly, you're a killer. You know what to do.
Yeah.
You just go in and you do it.
You like that.
And there's no bullshitting. There's no meetings. You just do it because there's just that. You're just that good.
Remember, did you watch Pulp Fiction? Like the Quentin Tarantino movie back in the days?
The Cleaner?
Yeah, when they call the wolf.
The guy who cleans the kills, right?
He shows up, he tells you to like, you're going to do this, you're going to do this, you're going to do this, put this on, get it, and that's it.
Now, you know what I call those guys, right?
What?
I call those guys the solopreneurs.
Okay, yeah.
So solopreneur is an entrepreneur who wants to work for himself, but they don't want employees. Because having employees kind of sucks.
Well, it depends on your workload, though.
No, it's like an introvert thing. Let's say I have an employee and they let me down. Some people can't handle that emotion.
Yeah.
Like I actually have a hard time when I'm like, oh, this employee doesn't like me at the beginning of my career. I'm like, oh, every employee must love me. I must be best friends with everybody. And then I realize, you know what? They don't want to be best friends with me. So why am I forcing them to be best friends with them? And so it's basically a power thing.
Because you're misconstruing the relationship. It's not the same.
Yeah, you're saying, okay, if I go to the factory and there's 1,000 people who work at Elon Musk's factory, Elon Musk is going to have 1,000 friends. That's how he's feeling emotionally. And that's why he's doing it, because it's basically like, okay, I'm a king of a kingdom, so I need my subjects to have a hall, and I'll do these public speeches, and I want to feed off their energy like a comedian. That's fine. Some people need that to be a leader, right? Because they need that energy to motivate them to lead. And that's one style. There's nothing wrong with that. I didn't say there's something, but guess what? If you think about it as a businessman,
yeah,
neutral, right? the army that person can raise is getting smaller and smaller every day. The people who want to work physically somewhere exclusively is getting smaller and smaller every day. The amount of people who want to work remotely, have freedom, is getting bigger and bigger every day. They're getting more and more effective every day. Because when you're remote, you have to basically give results, not time.
Yeah, exactly.
And the people who are remote get fired much more quickly because the results don't come. You're like, well, yeah, what have you been doing for the last 5 weeks? Tell me tangibly. Show me a document you created. Show me some type of Excel. Show me some customers you lined up. Show me
Something.
some logs of calls you did. Show
Yeah.
me stuff. And it's all on paper. It's all in black and white. And it's very clear.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, do you want to police the people who come physically to Tesla and have cameras and have meetings and have like motivational events? Or do you want to have a strategically set up hiring process where you have goals, you have accountability, and you have freedom for accountability? That's the
Yeah. There's
model
a
for
different
Phuc
type of
Labs.
thing.
So we have actually 3 models here. We have for the culture. One is freedom for accountability. So you can do what you want as long as you're accountable for the things you're supposed to be doing, right?
Yeah.
We treat you like adults. You could be anywhere in the world.
Exactly. I mean, it's just like out of respect. Like this is what you're expected to do in your job. And like it's crazy that it got to this point that we have to like reward just doing what you have to do.
Absolutely. And then the number 2 is we're the good guys. So whatever you do, it's not about money. Do the good thing. Usually the good thing makes a lot of money.
Be a good person. Like it seems so complicated and so difficult at sometimes. I mean, like just do what you have to do.
No,
Like,
so
be
we're the good
decent.
guys. So if you don't feel like we're doing something good for the customer, do something good for the customer. If we're not doing something good for the world, don't do it.
Yeah.
If you think you can improve things, then do it. And people come to work because they believe in something. So don't come to my company and work for me if you don't think you're a good guy and you own superhero movie. The movie you're signing up for is a movie where you're a superhero. If you don't think you're a superhero, don't come work with Phuc Labs.
Exactly. Go.
We're the
there's
good guys.
So many other places.
You don't have to be a superhero to be a good guy. You can be like a tech guy. You could be like the nerd who invented something that, you can be Iron Man, right? You can be Iron Man who invented the suit, who made him a superhero, or something like that, right? Because the only superhero you can really be is Iron Man. So this is not a fake lie. You can be a spellcaster. You can write code to cast spells. You can be a potions master by doing chemistry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? You could be a mentalist by telling, motivating your staff as a project manager, right? You can basically do. Everyone has a different skill they can offer.
Yes. Yeah.
Where they're the superhero with their special skill.
I was watching this. It's this new anime like called Blue Lock, and it's a soccer thing. And basically, something that stuck with me was like this. At some point, they get like this pep talk, and they tell each of the players, like, identify your weapon. Like, what do you excel at? What is it? What is your thing that makes you like special? And identify it and exploit it.
What's your unfair advantage?
Again, yeah.
Everyone has an unfair advantage.
You're good at
Someone
something.
might say, I came to this country, I don't speak English. But do you speak Vietnamese? Yes, I do. Well, you're hired.
Yeah, there you go.
Because I need someone in Vietnam, right? I came to this country and, I used to be a doctor in another country, but I can't get my license, so I can't practice medicine. That's okay, because this other job that we have is clinical research. You don't need to be a doctor, but we can pay $150K, $120K a year because you know medicine, and you can create like these amazing studies for us. And it'll be cheaper than hiring a doctor who's like $300K here.
Yes, indeed. Like there's always something. You just have to know where.
There's always as long as you want it enough, you just have to open your eyes and say yes sometimes.
But you have to be able to identify the opportunity, though.
But also, once you get it, you have to actually persevere through the experience.
Okay, you have to over-deliver for sure.
So, this company, Phuc Labs, we had like close to 10 people, right? And now we have like 6. Because some people left naturally.
Yeah.
Some people resigned. Some people were let go. But with every starting of a company, you can have people come and go at the beginning because some of them are believers, but then they can't last that long because of some personal reason, right? They can't
Yeah.
afford it anymore,
Yeah.
or they have too much stress, or they don't feel like they're a good fit because they don't have the skill set, or maybe we don't think they have the skill set, right? Or they
Everybody's
don't
their
get
own
along with certain
universe, huh?
people.
Like, it is crazy.
But it's always a movie experience where Tom Cruise said yes, but it looks like Brad Pitt's going to be the one because Tom didn't get along with the director and he doesn't like the script. So, but
Yeah.
Brad Pitt loved it.
Yeah,
So, something like
exactly.
that, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then you're like, you're the better fit, and we want to work with you.
So that stuff used to really bother me because I felt like, oh, when an employee quit, they were basically judging me and judging the company.
Because you're taking it personally, though.
Well, because again, you're trying to believe in something,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
when someone doesn't believe in it, it kind of hurts you, right?
It does. Like if
Because you're
like you're
number
saying
one
something
sales
like
guy
the,
for the
to
idea.
the yeah, to the passionate, like about being passionate, like, and to have somebody not be as passionate about your amazing idea, you thought it was
Well,
reflecting on
yeah,
you.
that's half of it. But also sometimes you make promises. I will promise you, you will get paid, and then they don't get paid because it's payroll delays, right? And it's
Yeah,
not their
yeah.
fault. It's a promise that you made that you let down. You let them down. Now it may be beyond your control. You might say, "Hey, my script was supposed to be funded. The producer said yes, but then he backed out, and I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to find another producer, and it's gonna take some time."
Yeah.
But that person says, I can't do that. I have a kid, or have an opportunity. I need to take care of this other opportunity right now. Otherwise, if I don't take this opportunity, I won't get it again. Okay, fine. Go ahead, take the other opportunity. I know I can't promise you that we're gonna do well, but good luck. Right?
Yeah,
So things
yeah,
like that
yeah.
happen. But at the
Totally.
same time, you're like, man, I let them down because I promised them this role, but I didn't fulfill my side of it. Does that
Yeah,
make sense?
yeah, yeah. It does make sense.
But there's always a little bit of both, right? So maybe they always plan to do that
Uh, yeah, but you
because
can't know
they,
that
they
part,
were they
though.
were they were hoping to do it because they didn't like you, or they didn't like the company, or they had picked the company because they thought it was one thing but it wasn't something. And then
Like,
sometimes people say, "Hey, I'm leaving for this reason," or some other reason, but you never know.
because you think like they were waiting for an excuse, basically.
I don't know. It could
Yeah,
be. I'm just
yeah.
saying. Like, look, what really matters for you is to have the eyes on the prize. Because
Exactly.
when
Like,
the ups and downs of having a startup, it really sucks. I mean, a
oh,
couple of weeks
yes.
ago it was down, right? It was pretty down, and now it's really up. And you have to be very even. When things go well, you say, "Okay, that's good." When things go bad, you're like, "Okay, that's bad," and
And
just
that's
try to
okay.
say, "Hey, what is the truth?"
And like for the people that have been like watching us since the beginning, and they've seen like some crazy ups and downs.
Yeah, and you know what? We say things and then we change it because it's that fast that the environment changes.
Yes.
If you look at the environment right now, to get funding in this environment is a miracle. The economy is crashing. Just so you guys know, crypto crashed. The economy is crashing. Inflation is super high. Not many companies are getting funding. There was massive layoffs at Facebook, massive layoffs at Google, and other companies coming soon probably.
I saw a thing with Meta today.
Yeah, and there were
75% down or
layoffs at
something.
Uber and Lyft and other companies in the past couple. So tech is hurting, but yet we might get funding. So it's a it's a really big accomplishment, but it wasn't easy, right? It was hard. In fact, we have an easier time to get funding now than like 8 months ago when the economy was booming and right before the Ukraine war. I think we have a better chance now because our story is tighter. And the VC market is about long run returns and betting on people and betting on opportunities that are massive, where you're trying to make 100 times your money, right? So whether or not the economy is bad, you're gonna have to wait 8 years or 10 years for this company to see if you actually were right about that 100 times X for the VC point of view,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the economy being bad or not doesn't matter to them. So we're kind of a little bit isolated from it, but at the same time, they're not going to cut money to stupid projects
But they do
anymore,
have the vision.
right?
Yeah, exactly. And they have the long-term vision.
Well, so I think Andreessen Horowitz has a $4 or $5 billion crypto fund, and I think they're going to lose all of it.
Shit. How can you lose all of it, though?
It's called pyramid scheme.
Ah.
Bernie Madoff. You know FTX, that company, they're going bankrupt. That's a multi-billion-dollar company. The company that funded them, right? Sequoia,
Okay.
they funded 100 million. They
shit.
said that $100 million worth of stock is worth zero. They wrote it off.
What?
That's FTX.
This is crazy.
The crypto winter. But this is something that many people predicted. I predicted it. And if it doesn't happen today, it's going to happen in the future because the encryption is bullshit. Because once you have quantum computers and you can decrypt all that stuff, it's bullshit. It's basically based. The whole crypto thing is based on fake technology. The technology
Okay.
works for another 10 years. But have you ever done anything IT wise? What happens when that technology stops working? You can't just upgrade the whole society quickly to a new platform. And if you do, that old system loses value. It's like saying like, I'm going to have the same iPhone forever.
Yes.
There'll be new technologies like quantum that are the true answer because quantum breaks math the way we know it. Okay? Because what we're doing is you're paralyzing all these operations into multi-dimensional math, essentially. And you're doing it in a way that's so much better than what we have right now. And what we have right now is what crypto is based on.
Okay. So how long you see it though?
So how long does that last? Well, quantum computers are right now existing. They'll get better and they probably be around in the next 10 years and will destroy crypto no matter what.
Okay, 10 years? It's not bad.
No, I'm saying if you survive this crypto winter, you might ride another wave, but the next asteroid that hits you will be quantum computing, and that
Okay.
asteroid will destroy the entire crypto industry. I guarantee it.
Damn.
Now, the best way to do it, right, guys? Is let's go woo woo, right?
Let's
I'm
go.
gonna give you
Ooh.
advice for those crypto traders. There's gonna be shocks to the system. Many possible shocks. One shock is the government, like China banning it completely. The US, someone might do that. I don't know. But besides the regulatory, right? Imagine the aliens come.
Yes, indeed.
I'm serious.
That would change
I'm not
everything
joking.
though. No, it would change it.
The reason why the aliens might come is because of what I said in the past. Now, they're going to have galactic credits. The galactic credits will be a different monetary system. We're all going to have to transition to. Whatever recreation of money that we're trying to create is going to be superseded by that. Now, those problems that we have today with crypto would have been solved by the aliens. They would have used quantum computing, maybe something beyond that, maybe karma points, maybe something like a soul promise. Okay? All of these things where you have credits in the galactic realm will be a different paradigm, guys. If you want to invest in something that's still going to last through this transition, it's not crypto. It's things that you think will last in the new era, where there's actually aliens, right? And there's actually crazy shit that's about to go down, baby. There's going to be the aliens going to be reveal themselves through the government, right? The government, they're going to have a report that they're supposed to release. They delayed it quite a bit. It was supposed to come out during Halloween. It wasn't quite ready yet. I don't know why. I think it wasn't what they wanted. And they said, go back and write it again and give more. I think that was the rumor. And now they're actually going to write more. But the idea is this. There's a movie you should watch called The Moment of Contact. It's a documentary.
The Moment of
The Moment of
Contact.
Contact is a movie about a crash landing. Actually, it was. I think the spaceship was shot down in Brazil, and these alien creatures escaped. These kids, these little girls saw one of them. It was basically a creature that had oily skin, who looked like kind of like the typical alien. It was crunched. It was scared. It had red eyes. There's a drawing of it. There's also a photo of it somewhere that someone actually took, and many photos of it, because they actually found more of those aliens. Okay, the firemen basically found the alien running in the streets, and one of the guys jumped out and grabbed the alien. He got scratched by the alien, and then he died thereafter. At the hospital, the doctors who administered the care to that person was witness to that. Okay.
Shit.
They had captured one creature first, and that was the incident where that guy got scratched. And then there's another creature. So there's at least two creatures. There's dead bodies of other creatures. There was military from the Brazilian, military came in and basically shut everyone down and tried to hide the evidence. Then it was shipped off, all that stuff through to the U.S. The U.S. has evidence in its possession of the spaceship, of the aliens, of all these pictures and all these photos, and it's part of many, many incidents in the past. But this is real because the whole town saw it.
Why would they give it to the U.S. though?
Huh?
Why would they give it to the U.S.?
Because the Brazilian government was working with the U.S. government.
I mean, I feel like Brazil is big enough to handle all their shit.
But maybe all these nations have maybe there's a secret society. They all know. It doesn't really matter, dude. The main thing is there's a lot of evidence. Watch the movie, man.
I'll check it out.
And maybe at some point the U.S. government will tell the truth and say, look, we have bodies. We have spaceships. We've been trying to reverse engineer all this stuff.
That'd be
amazing. And there's a whistleblower amendment that's passed the Congress where people who know all that information can release it. That's going to happen very soon. There are people who are queued up to testify.
I really want to see this.
So, to answer your question, crypto is dead. Crypto was educating society about the galactic credits and all these things that we're about to see. This is what the Phuc, guys. It's a crazy time we live in.
It is. It's gonna be good.
Aliens are coming. We might get funding. Clinical Research IO, my last company, is kicking ass. Thanks for watching the show, guys.
See you guys next time. Take care.